I'm a dad, and here are my thoughts on how to stop being a target for bullies. I'm sorry, bro. I didn't mean to do that. So Jimmy here has a problem that a lot of other kids in the world have. They have a bully. They get picked on verbally, they get picked on online, they get picked on physically. You name it, and someone's picking on them. I used to be Jimmy, and what I used to lack and what Jimmy lacks is physical strength, mental strength, and self-confidence. All three of these things are the secret to deterring bullies. Jimmy, do you want bullies to keep bullying you? No? Well, you gotta get strong, son. When I was in middle school and I got bullied a lot and I was jumped a couple times, even in my neighborhood, there was one thing I was lacking, and that was physical strength. I was a fat tub boy that was good at playing Halo, and I was good at playing Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, RuneScape. I was crushing it in the digital world, but when it came to the physical world, I was getting crushed, unless I had a team behind me. And what happens when you have a team? You have strength. But you can't always have a team behind you, especially when there are bullies lurking around. So when I was in school and I was getting bullied and picked on and realizing that I can't really win a one-on-one fight as well as I thought I could against these stronger kids, because these other kids were in sports. These other kids were athletic their whole life. And me, I was athletic on the digital space. So in my other video, I talked about there was a time I flipped a kid and I started hitting him with a shoe. Well, I realized that I had strength and I stopped being bullied from that individual after that time. And I realized that when I showed my strength to this guy, that he left me alone. And when I got into high school, I joined a football team, and the first day I passed out when we were just running to practice. I got bullied from then on out all of freshman year by the whole football team making fun of me because I was the guy that passed out just from running. I realized I was weak. I realized I needed to get stronger. I realized I needed to increase my strength to make sure bullies didn't mess with me. Automatically, I started running. I started doing push-ups. I started doing sit-ups and air squats and jumping around, just doing jumps in place like as if I had a jump rope. I started getting myself into shape. I started to make myself strong, because the matter of the fact here is that no matter what, a bully's gonna come after you if you're weak, because a bully in itself is already being picked on by someone stronger. So they need to find someone else that is weaker for them to pick on. But being physically strong isn't the solution to a bully in itself. If you're not strong mentally, that bully's always going to win. Even if you get strong one day and you can beat its ass, it's still going to come back because now it wants revenge. But if you have the mental fortitude to figure out how to keep it from happening, that's when you really stop a bully. So after getting strong in high school and building up my strength that bullies never messed with me again, I moved into college. And in college, I realized that, wow, I'm still getting bullied by nerds. How is that possible? They're making fun of me and I'm losing my temper. Okay. And it didn't click until I went into the corporate world. And I started to realize, wow, there are these corporate managers that are treating other people like crap. And they're not physically stronger. They're not doing anything physically against them, but they're doing it mentally. Telling them, hey, you're not doing good enough. Hey, you were supposed to do this, but I told you to do this. Why aren't you doing this? Are you incompetent? And they use big words to pull down that lower person. So I started to read books. I started to realize I need to defend myself mentally. And luckily, my mentor told me to read books constantly. He kept telling me, oh, you should read this book. You should read this book. And it wasn't until I started reading books that I started to get mentally strong. If I hadn't built myself mentally strong, I wouldn't have been able to deal with the bullies that are out here in the regular day life that you can't just physically fight because you'll probably go to jail. Case in point, I had a client once that decided to curse me out on the phone. And instead of going into the meeting with him afterwards and yelling back at him and proving that I was more angry than him, I sat there and I listened. I used the education that I gained from reading this book called Crucial Conversations. And I listened to him. I heard what his problem was with me. And then I voiced back what my problem was with the situation, and we resolved it without fighting. I built up my mental fortitude by reading books so that when a conversation like this happened, I didn't lose my temper and we didn't get into a physical fight or a verbal fight in person. You see, when I started to educate myself, I started to become more confident because physical fitness made me really confident. But when I educated myself and built my mental fortitude, I got really confident. And bullies can't beat confidence. Now, any bully that I ever interacted with, there was one thing I didn't have until I became an adult. And it was confidence, self-confidence. And it took me years to build it. When a bully is bullying someone, it's because someone else, like I said before, is bullying them, which means they don't have self-confidence, but they are trying to make it seem like they're confident in themselves by belittling other people. And when that person is belittling someone else, their confidence keeps lowering and lowering, because every time they take on a tinier person, yeah, they might be like, I can take on a tiny person, but they know they can't take on someone bigger than them. They know that when someone bigger comes along, they're not going to be able to take them on. There are multiple ways to build self-confidence. I mean, heck, you can look up any video you want online. But for me personally, I learned that having good posture, that building your physical strength, building your mental strength, and also saying positive self-affirmations to yourself daily. I used to always catch myself saying, man, I'm so stupid. Man, I can't do this. Man, this is impossible. And my wife even catches it here and there. And the fact of the matter is, when we say those things to ourselves, when I say those things to myself, I become less confident. Because the number one person that should believe in me is currently telling me that I'm not good at it. When I look in the mirror and I tell myself that I'm fat, I'm going to get fatter. My confidence is going to lower. When I look in the mirror and I tell myself that I'm just not that smart, I'm probably not going to read a book and I'm probably not going to get smart. It all comes down to what we say to ourselves. And bullies are constantly saying bad things to themselves. They're constantly telling themselves, I'm not strong enough. I need to beat up that kid. I'm not powerful enough. I need to make sure no one else gets to a high level in the company like me. I'm not going to be able to be as successful if those people around me are doing good as well. They're all saying these negative things to themselves to empower themselves to keep moving up. Now, there's a lot of psychology behind this, and I'm not an expert. I'm just telling you what I've done throughout life. Everyone's fighting their own battles, y'all. And bullies are bullies for a reason, and victims are victims for a reason. But if we can all work on ourselves and we can all make sure we're physically strong, mentally strong, and self-confident, the world would be a better place. We wouldn't have to show other people that we're stronger than them or put them down. And that's what I've learned throughout life, and that's how I've learned how to navigate life. So if you're being bullied, I'm absolutely sorry for you. I truly am. And you should reach out to other people around you. Voice what is happening. You should educate yourself. You should get stronger. You should build up your self-confidence. But no matter what, you need to seriously ask yourself, what can I do to become a stronger individual every single day? If this video helped you in any way and it inspired you to improve your life, to build your life to be more fit in all aspects and stop living a chub life, hit subscribe. Marco and I are showing our journey on how we're navigating this thing we all call life, and we're stopping the victim card. We're becoming the active player, and we're building our life. So if you need some role models or someone to hold you accountable, hit subscribe.